Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, the National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by three other lovely folks. But this incredible broadcast that you're about to tune into is brought to you today by our good friends at TechWeld. USA made in a world filled with worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Hand sanitizers due to coronavirus outbreak. This is something that's trending worldwide. Obviously, still CDC recommends sanitizing and washing hands to help prevent the spread of the disease. And they have many sanitizer SKUs that help combat the spread of the virus. They've also got a lot of FDA compliant products. In a time of uncertainty, knowledge that a product is FDA compliant is key in allowing customers to feel at ease when placing an order. So go check them out at techweld.com for more information. That's TEKWELD. .com. Like I said, for more information, go check them out and tell them we sent you. Why don't we say hi to Stephen McFadden? How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. How about yourself, Jeff?
I'm doing good. I'm doing phenomenal. What can I say? No complaints here whatsoever at all. Meg Erber, how are you?
Why are we laughing? Because I look
Nothing
tired?
At all. No, you look fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay. They sent my daughter home. She's been at school for 2 weeks and she got sent home last night and she had an hour to pack her bags and get on out.
Yeah, we got a whole
What woman can pack in an hour?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, man, that I would love to get into at some point. Like how does the university even manage that? Like, how do you let your students know or your teachers know that you're going to be gone? Like, do you then switch to a virtual setting? Do you just not participate in classes? Like, how does that even work? Is that like an in-school suspension type of deal, or a school suspension where you're like kicked out and you can't even study?
Basically, they gave her homework to do for the next 2 weeks and that's it.
Wow.
And I stayed up all
No
night.
virtual learning?
No, they don't for some reason yet. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not very happy about all this, but we'll stay tuned.
All right. Yeah, we'll save that.
Write a letter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A whole nother time, I guess. And that other voice you're hearing is our special guest this week, Brandi Whitecotton with AFP Logistics, and really excited to have you on to talk about the global logistics. We'll call it daydream.
There's a lot going on.
Nightmare.
Thank you for having me.
But yeah, super excited to have you on, and I think it's going to be really educational for our audience. So thank you for coming. And Brandi, it is customary for us to give our special guest a good 3 to 4 minute rundown of who you are, how you got involved in your industry, what you've been up to since. So take the floor.
Okay. My name is Brandi Whitecotton. I work for AFP Global Logistics. Logistics is kind of in my blood. My mom started this company with her partner in 1991. Me and my sister bought out her partner 7 years ago. So me, my mother and sister own the business. We all complement each other very well. My sister works more on the government side and government contracts. My mom is really good on the customer service business side, and I deal more on the commercial side. And the environment has changed for us greatly. It consistently changes on a yearly basis depending on what's going on in the world. We are basically a company that is not fit in a box. We will find customized solutions to help any of our clients with any of their needs, and try to understand the type of products they're sending so that we send them in the best way so that they make them there in one piece.
Got it. So, I mean, really just a family business that you sort of grew up into and all that. So, I mean, it's something you've been around, like you said, it's been in your blood. So
yes,
you've got a lot of great perspective to bring to the table.
And we always seem to talk about this when we get at the table, the family table. We can never stop talking about logistics.
It's the same for promo.
Everybody else is over it.
It's definitely the same for promo. If you're sitting at a table with folks that are in the business, it's impossible not to talk about. So very cool. Well,
especially when it's something you love.
Absolutely. So really excited to hear about AFP Global Logistics and what you guys are doing, and how you may even be able to help some folks in our industry. But ultimately, the conversation we want to bring to the table today is just really what's going on in the world with logistics. What happened? What led up to all of this? What is the outlook for the next 6 months to 2 years? What do you sort of see? What are you seeing out there, Brandi?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it's very tough because it's a constantly changing, evolving market. And we have other things that also, affect our market with stuff going on in the government as far as importing has become very, very difficult, especially for anybody that's bringing in something in from out of China. They've done some weird things, seizing containers, moving ports, literally taking ports and taking all of the containers and moving everything to another port, saying there's some kind of COVID outbreak, and literally diverting hundreds of containers to another location, which causes another delay. Also, our ports here in the U.S. are extremely overflowed with business. They cannot keep up with the volume. We have, several major ports across the U.S. We found an opportunity in Savannah, Georgia. It's a fairly new port that they just finished building. And we found a partner down there that has a lot of space, and we are able to kind of skip the other crowded ports and go into a port that's kind of new and have a little bit more leeway as far as getting your products in there, getting them unloaded and getting them out. I've actually directed several of my clients to start moving freight into that port because they have the relationship directly with the steamship lines. So you have to be very creative in where you're going to bring it into, backlogs, and how that affects your cost, number one, because a lot of these containers are sitting in storage because they can't unload them. So there are storage fees. So there's additional costs. And then in your production line, as far as whatever your dates are for rollouts or anything along those lines, everything is pushed back. So it's costing these clients a lot of money out of their pockets that's unforeseen.
Sure. That's a lot of times I don't think people really take into consideration the actual port. I mean, now we look at the port in California. I think 2 weeks ago, there was like 40 some ships just anchored. I can't even imagine. It blows my mind to think of the suppliers.
That's where they usually bring it into.
Yeah, for their promotional products. So they're already losing that money on the orders. Now they're having to pay all these extra storage fees. So you found a solution by getting creative and finding this new port. I mean, is this open to, anyone that could kind of develop that relationship down there? Because I would love to be able to open that up to this industry if it's something, because everybody is struggling right now with this.
If anybody wants to consider moving into that port and utilizing a warehouse to create a distribution center of some sort, if they could reach out to me personally, I will align you with the company down there that handles that type of work. They handle the warehousing side, we handle the logistics side, but they'll bring it in from the port, they'll unload your container, they'll put it in their warehouse, and as soon as with putting it in their warehouse too, you become a priority customer. So your stuff gets unloaded first, as opposed to people who aren't warehousing in that facility. So we've just kind of found relationships and bought everybody in to making these clients a priority.
So Brandi, I think our industry has done a fairly decent job at trying to keep people updated on certain topics and some of the delays, but specifically as it relates to just the supply chain. A lot of what we're seeing from the shipping side is, there's no containers, there's a lack of labor.
Yeah.
So the port solution is genius. I hadn't thought about that because we always think it goes to one of two, like New York or California.
You have a choice.
But
you have a choice.
Even with the new port, are there still issues with containers and still issues with labor? Is that still something you're seeing in your end?
Yes. You're going to see issues with labor, and you're going to see issues with chassis, because there's only so many chassis down there that can pull those containers out of the port and bring them into a facility and unload them. So yes, there are delays, and I think everybody across the board is seeing them. A lot of what it is people not coming to work either. I can't tell you how many of my clients right now are delayed in getting jobs done because the people don't show up for the jobs. I'm hoping that that is going to change here soon, because I think that's across the board everywhere. I'm running into it with my agents across the world. So hopefully our labor market kind of gets back to going to work and wanting to help provide services to get this stuff done, because without people there to do it, it's not gonna happen.
Sure. See, I mean,
So
I guess
yes, that is causing delays.
That kind of leads into the next question that I was going to ask, because where all this really started, is this really increased demand, or is this just labor shortage and not being able to get through what demand is there? Because obviously, we're hearing that the economy is not doing the greatest in the world, but if that's the case, like, how is there such high demand, or how is there so much stuff coming through that we can't get through, that there's such a backlog? So it really kind of has to be the labor shortage issue, right?
That, and because a lot of people aren't getting their products in America, they're outsourcing them to other countries. And when you outsource them to other countries, you're kind of at their demands, and I've even run into where I have agents in China that are my clients, they're holding freight for them, and they're telling them that in order for it to get moved, that they want to charge them 3 times for a container, 3 times what the normal rate is. And unfortunately, sometimes if you need a product, you're kind of at that will of what they want you to do if you want it released. I would really personally like to see people start going back to looking for American manufacturing. I have talked to numerous of my clients that do their purchasing overseas, and say to them, why, with all these delays and everything you're dealing with, why would you not consider using a partner here in the US? And they've looked at, what the costs are associated with it. And what everybody tells me is that China has decreased their prices so low that they're giving it to you no matter what that cost is, that they've decreased it that far. They will meet your bottom line no matter what. And nobody here in the U.S. can compete. But then when you think about it, okay, they're holding your product hostage. They're saying when it can get there, you're adding storage charges when your containers are sitting there. You're paying more for your containers. In the long run, all these additional charges is what you probably would have paid to have it manufactured in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't get people to work in the ports. How are you going to get people to how are you going to start a new manufacturing company and then get people to fill your roster in order to actually get the manufacturing done? If we're dealing with a labor shortage already, how are you going to address that?
And wait, hold on, before you answer that, and not only on top of that, just on top of all that, there's the raw material shortages. Like, you can't even get cotton. There isn't any. Because remember everything happened in China with the cotton, and they're like all the child labor and everything.
Cotton ban, yeah.
Right. So then retail, that's where most of the cotton and retail was coming from. So they had to reshore that elsewhere, and nobody has the infrastructure that China does. So even if they're like, fine, whatever, we'll pay whatever, which is what a lot of people are at right this second. They just can't handle it because nobody has the infrastructure. And here in the United States, I know it's even all of our USA made.
It's a cost.
Yeah. Materials, our manufacturers are having to like open up more locations just to be able to service the demand. So I do think the demand is a lot more as well, Jeff.
Now, Meg, I do want to just cover one thing since you said that. I know I don't want to create a phobia in people that all cotton from China is bad, because it's not. It was just the one.
No, absolutely not. No. This was that one. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, we don't want to get too off topic. That's a whole other thing, but I just wanted to add that in before you were like, that might be one of the reasons and the layers why they're not coming here. That's all.
Yeah. Stephen?
I was going to kind of go ahead, Brandi. I'm sorry. You have something to add?
I was just going to say, I do know that states have programs. Like, I'm aligning a lot of my the clients here that I have in Maryland. Maryland has a workforce program that is done by the state. So anybody that's collecting unemployment, they have to go there, and if a job's offered to them, they have to take it. So if I'm trying to educate some of these companies that I deal with, that there are other options, that the state helps you find employees, and that they're free to these companies.
Awesome. Did not know about that.
Yes, there is a Maryland workforce.
So I guess that kind of leads into what I was going to transition us to a little bit is just the domestic shipping. I think there's a huge issue, obviously, with inventory and stuff that the supplier side deals with from getting stuff in, as well as the distributor side with getting custom merchandise in from overseas. But we don't deal as much, and most distributors day to day don't deal as much with direct international, but we do a lot of domestic shipping, and that seems like it's a wreck as well. We even just the other day I got educated on the different carrier maps and the way that they're transitioning their regions and how there's more third-party carrier services, which is causing issues with transitions of trailers. And I'm like, this is a lot for someone to try to understand, and
yes, it is.
And delays
that's
everywhere.
the problem. There's a lot of layers, a lot of layers and a lot of different things.
This one went train and this one went truck and this, I'm like, what?
There's modes that there's modes that AFP does not utilize. We vet all of our carriers on a monthly basis. I check all their lanes, their damages, their on-time percentages. And on the LTL side, I am not finding any of those that hit my guidelines of where they need to be to utilize them as one of my carriers. And that same reason that you just said with going with 3PL providers, a lot of these companies want to go with 3PL providers and they want to, it's all about driving that price down, and they're sending them to LTL carriers who are passing them off to Joe Schmo in a pickup truck and dropping it off, whenever he feels like it. You have no direct communication with anybody when it gets there, The difference about us is that I don't align with carriers who don't communicate with me. I don't align with carriers that don't have a tracking and tracing system in place.
Mm-hmm.
We are not the cheapest guy in town, but I can guarantee you we check all modes of transportation. We vet them. And when our freight moves, when our carriers, it gets there, we know when it leaves, we know when it gets there, we know when it's been delivered. We don't even do deliveries that are damaged freight. Anything that comes in damaged, they say, call me up, this is damaged. I tell my client, I'm not delivering this on your behalf. This is a reflection of you. Send me a new one out. Nobody else out there does that.
Who else wants to hire Brandi? Me.
We're different because we evaluate the market, and we're all about building true partnerships. And right now in this day and age, you need to find partners that you have trust, that you value, and that are bought in 100%. Without valuable partners, you'll never survive.
So you may have a different perspective on this, but what do you think the main issues are with just the main carriers that folks use, like the ground services, like the UPS, the FedExes? What in your opinion, what do you think is going on there? Is that just a demand thing, storms, or everything?
It depends, because you have to understand there's two different divisions of a FedEx and a UPS.
Sure.
There is a freight division, which carries all of your pallets. Then you have a small package division. I don't really deal so much with the small package division. We deal more on the freight side, and I never utilize a UPS or a FedEx. I don't know if anybody knows, but UPS their freight division was bought out. It's no longer owned by UPS. It's a little bit of a nightmare, I'm not going to lie, because they're trying to figure out how the whole system works. And the same thing that we were discussing, them handing them off to third-party companies in order to get the end mile delivery. I use a lot of line haul companies. I don't want my freight or my client's freight transferring through multiple facilities and multiple docks. It's going to get lost. It's going to get damaged, or it's going to end up on a truck that it's not supposed to go to. I try to use carriers that don't put their hands on the freight, that it's leaving this city and it's going directly to another city and being unloaded. Or it might be going to another city, but the tail end's loaded and then the front end's loaded. So you know that you're not getting handling. Nobody's handling your freight. When you start adding handlers of your freight in warehouses with forklifts and pallet jacks, they don't care about your freight. They're just trying to move stuff around and get it done.
Yeah, my trade show booth would tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're shipping your trade show booth via LTL, that is, don't call me. We'll do it with a line haul carrier. We'll guarantee that it gets there in one piece. And if anything's damaged, you'll know about it before anybody else does.
Fair enough.
I love it.
Nick, you heard the lady.
So I think the main things that our customers are seeing, when you send them tracking, order ships, all the orders ship out by the end of the day. A, it's either not tracking, or B, it's at Christmas time. I can tell you, I can look up any given order, and if 10 packages shipped from one order, there's only 4 that are getting there the next day, and it's like, boom. So that's like the first.
Do you want to know why that is?
Yeah, please. I mean, we think we
The
know.
4 get there next day. The 4 get there next day, so they make service and you pay the full bill. Because if all that freight doesn't get there by that AM delivery, they give you your money back. But if 4 of them delivered, you still got to pay full price.
You guys hear that? I'm still glad.
So let me just tell you, multiple packages overnight.
Wouldn't it cost them more to ship it again? That last piece than it would be just to ship time?
It all depends on capacity, I think.
See, me, I would have put that all on the same skid and not sent it in separate boxes. I would have wrapped it up and I would have sent it on a line haul carrier, and it would have came directly to you instead of boxes sporadically all over the place.
So I'm having some internet connection instability issues here. I don't know if everybody's frozen. Oh, I think we're back. All right, cool.
Yeah, we're back.
When it comes to overnight shipping, if you're using UPS for FedEx and you're shipping more than like 2 boxes, more than likely I will be cheaper. FedEx and UPS charges you for every single box that you send. We just charge you on the total weight of the shipment.
So
you're paying a premium price for every single one of those boxes.
So you don't do dimensional weight, you just do straight?
I do dimension.
Okay.
I do dimensional weight. But what I'm saying is, when you ship it FedEx, UPS, or FedEx, they don't let you put it on a skid when it's overnight because they have to put it on the airplane.
Oh, right.
So they're breaking it down.
Yeah.
They're breaking it down into smaller pieces, which means when they break it down, that you're going to have pieces all over the place. Whereas if I could put it on a skid, put it on a cargo van, and you have the dedicated van, and we hot shot it to the next location. If it's that urgent, then I'll be just as much as probably they would be. That's the one thing about us we do is we look at all options. When will it be ready and when do you need it there? And we always provide all of our options. This is what we highly recommend. This one we're not too sure of, but we always offer solutions and multiple ones.
Yeah.
One of the best practices we've started doing with all of our freight is adding a bunch of additional insurance. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or no, because it just saved our butt this week.
Insurance is a profit center. Don't do it anymore. Okay, so insurance is a profit center. If you guys are shipping a lot of freight, you guys need to go to your insurance company and you need to ask them to do a policy. It's a rider policy on your transportation. It's a 1-year fee that you pay, and you never have to pay the nickel and dime of every single shipment. You're paying a flat fee. They handle your claims. They pay you on your claims. You have to submit them, but they'll handle getting you paid. So you're double you're double costing yourself when you're actually adding the insurance. When I can tell you right now, UPS and FedEx, when stuff gets damaged, they very rarely play a claim.
I can imagine that for sure. Look, man, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think Brandi's dropping some nuggets on y'all.
Yeah.
I have so many different things that if shippers would allow me the ability to explain what I'm trying to accomplish and give me insight into everything they have going on logistically, I will give them direction, the best way to save money. That's what I mean. I have clients right now that want to do insurance. Insurance is a profit center for us. That we make money on it. It's a profit center no matter what. I highly advise my clients, anybody that puts insurance on every shipment, go to your insurance company, get a rider policy. I don't want to take your money. I want to help. I want to help you guys. I'm one of those people who, you succeed, I succeed, we all succeed. I'm not trying to, I'm trying to make you understand your logistics and be smarter about how you guys handle it internally.
My mind's
smart.
blown, guys.
There's not a whole lot out here like that.
Yeah, no kidding. So I know you said you don't have a whole lot of you don't have a whole lot of dealings with the small package stuff, but is that something that you could give us any insight on, like as far as just being in that world at least? Like, do you know why that the delays that Steven's talking about is happening? You know, why so many people are using more carriers versus, I mean, is that a labor thing too?
Well, think about this. We have a lot going on in the U.S. right now. The government has seized assets. They have seized assets. Number one, the FEMA seizes assets with the natural disasters that are going on down south with the hurricanes and all that. They have seized assets to help with the COVID vaccination, disbursement. There is other plays in the fact too. We have to think also when our economy was more on the downside, a lot of people sold off their assets. They got rid of their trucks. Now they're trying to rebuild those assets to keep up with the volume.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's multiple
Speaking
things.
to that real quick, look, guys, I don't know if you've seen like how different industries have been affected by this whole thing, but my wife just had to rent a car last week. You can't rent a car. Like Hertz literally sold all of their inventory and had nothing. And their website, like when you go to try to reserve it, they won't even tell you that it's not available. They make you like, you'll go show up and then they'll just give you whatever they've got.
So
if they even have one.
I did a Turo in California cheaper than it was going to be to get a rental car, and I got a Tesla instead.
Rental cars are through the roof.
It's insane. Sorry, that was a side tangent.
Well, I know people are selling their cars that they've had for a year for more than what they paid for it, especially if they're SUVs with everything going on with this chip that they put in them that's over once again in China that we can't get our hands on.
My lease is up in May and I'm freaking out because I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Hopefully we have it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, this market is constantly changing. There's so many different factors that affect it. And most people don't think about how it gets there. The stuff just shows up on the shelf. Oh, it's just here. No, there's a lot of headaches that you go through before it even gets to you guys.
You know what, one thing you kind of gave us some advice earlier, I think it was in the pre-meeting, but you were talking about how the famous word of this industry is pivoted. You used to transport a lot of trade show materials, right? So when there was no trade shows, you started finding other niches. Can you talk to that? Can you talk to that a little bit and give that advice to our listeners? Because that was really good.
Sure. So a lot of what we did prior to COVID was the trade show world. The trade show world is extremely detailed, and it's a world that we excel very well at because of the communication piece. A lot of what we do isn't just one-offs. We do companies that do 25, 30 trade shows a year. We warehouse their stuff here and we ship it. Of course, when COVID happened, that market completely bottomed out. And it was probably about 50% of what AFP did. So we had to kind of diversify ourselves and look at what other markets kind of were similar to that market. And we found that retail is very similar to that. They're very specialized needs with rollout projects as far as, when deadlines of having stuff on site for construction crews. And that has become a huge part of what we do is a lot of project work. And that's from the retail side. So when everybody was kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen here, we'll kind of wait it out and see. We were kind of like, no, there's another market that is very similar to this, and let's just transition and let's just focus on that. And it's done very well. And now we have some of our trade show clients coming back. So it's become a very prominent market for us.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any other questions for Brandi?
I don't. I think it was pretty
very helpful.
A lot of knowledge, very insightful. Like I already have all these things I want to take back to my team.
So
if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm always available.
Yeah, I would actually like to ask one other question, because I know we've talked about sort of what led up to this situation and what's currently happening. What do you sort of foreshadow? I mean, is there anything that you see on the horizon that's changing in the logistics world, or something that we can look forward to?
Drone shipments, are those coming?
More.
I hope not, because that will put me out of business. To be honest, I'm not going to say anything that I see in the future, because everything that we kind of think is going to happen doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to foresee.
So you didn't.
I'm
you didn't bring your
just going to be
crystal
on
ball.
top of stuff.
So you forgot the crystal ball, is what you're telling me.
She purposely doesn't have it.
Yeah,
with
there is no, the crystal ball is very foggy these days.
Fair enough. Not so crystally. Very smoky.
No, it's not so crystally these days. We're still having major issues with importing or container shortages. We're still going to deal with that for an extended period of time.
Very cool.
Wow.
Well, look, I know AFP Global Logistics doesn't like to be fit in a box, but if you guys had to be put in a box, I could tell you who could make it for you. Our good
Ooh.
friends over at TechWeld. How's that?
Ooh.
Ah,
10 out
This
of
is a
10.
professional
there you go.
podcast.
10 out of
So
Our
I
good
can go to
friends over
them
at
when I need to do custom packaging for my clients.
There you go, techweld.com. TechWeld USA made
There you
the
go.
little worry regarding overseas products. They offer many USA made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. And like I said, their custom packaging division, they love to create new every single day. And look, it's something that they really enjoy doing and they thrive on. And they've got that whole division sort of looking after that. So each box takes on a life of its own, and they can work to meet your custom specifications regarding custom packaging. And another thing that I would really advise you guys to tune into with TechWeld is their kitting initiative. So they've got a great kit program. They've got 8 different stock packaging for their kits as well: EVA bag, a PVC tent pouch, a PVC tube, the organza bag, a pillow pouch, a BTL with 202, which is a 30-ounce tumbler, and then they've also got those really kick-ass retro lunch boxes. So not many players in the industry are focusing too heavily on kits, which allows them to hone in on the market for those products and really expand upon their already vast kit line. So go check them out at techweld.com. That's TEKWELD.com, and let them know the Industry Insider sent you. And if you guys have any questions for Brandi, reach out to us, comment, let us know, and hopefully we can get anything answered for you. Brandi, super excited and very thrilled to have had you on. Thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Thanks, Brandi.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.